Hi, I'm Lucy Reed. I'm a family barrister and mediator, and I've made this video for people who are going through a family court case but who don't have a lawyer to explain things to them. The video is mainly prepared for parents involved in disputes about their children, but should also be helpful if you're involved in another kind of family court case, for example, about your finances after separation. As a family barrister, I'm in court most days dealing with this kind of case. And I know that coming to court, particularly when you don't have a lawyer, and particularly for the first time, can be a very stressful and confusing experience. I remember the nerves I had when I first started as a lawyer and had to speak in court, and I have first-hand experience of the stress involved in representing myself. I meet litigants in person every day who are finding things very stressful, and I'd like to help make it a bit easier. Of course, this video isn't legal advice, but I hope it will be helpful. Although you'll probably still be nervous about what will happen with your case, it might help a little if I talk through some of the practical stuff, so you have less to worry about and can focus upon saying what you want to say to the judge. This is the second of 3 videos that I've made, and so it might make more sense if you've already watched the first video. In the last video, I talked about getting ready to come to court and what might happen before the hearing, but we didn't look inside the courtroom. In this video, I'm going to focus on what might happen at the first court hearing, and I'm going to show you what the courtroom might look like. The courtrooms here in Bristol won't be exactly like the courts in other areas, but it should give you a rough idea, so let's take a look. And before we go, don't forget to turn off your phone. Your case might be in front of a district judge. In Bristol, the district judges use a small courtroom like this one, and the judge will be in a slightly raised position. Usually, if you don't have a lawyer, you'll be invited to sit along the front row with your Mackenzie friend if you have one, and along from the other party and their lawyer if they have one. A party who's represented by a lawyer may sit next to their lawyer, or sometimes will be asked to sit directly behind them. And as you can see, in the family court, neither the judge nor the lawyers wear wigs or gowns. Every court will have a witness box. In modern courts, this is usually a small table like this one, rather than an enclosed box. Sometimes the judge will have a court clerk in court with him. They'll usually be sitting doing some administrative work quietly whilst the case continues, and they'll sit here. If your case is about children, and this is the first hearing, you may find that there is a CAFCASS officer in court with you, and this person might have had a brief chat with you when you first arrived at court. They may try to help both of you to find an agreed way forwards before the hearing, or the judge may send you out to have a chat with them. Usually they'll see both of you separately. CAFCASS stands for Children and Families Court Advisory and Support Service. CAFCASS is an independent agency which provides guidance to the court in cases about children, and CAFCASS officers are trained social workers. Each court has a slightly different scheme, but it usually involves some contact from CAFCASS before the first hearing by telephone and at the first hearing. Shortly before or at the first hearing, the CAFCASS officer may give you a copy of a letter telling you what the results of their safeguarding inquiries have been and what they think should happen next. Not all courts are laid out the same as the ones that I'm showing you. In many courts, district judges will hear cases in chambers, which just means their office, and there'll be a horseshoe arrangement of tables which everyone will sit round, with the judge at his own desk at the top. It might look something like this. Your case might be heard by 2 or 3 family magistrates rather than by a judge. A family magistrate is a volunteer from the local community who makes decisions on family cases with the assistance of a legal advisor. Although family magistrates aren't legally qualified, they're usually quite experienced in dealing with family cases. They'll often sit in a courtroom like this one, with the legal advisor sitting in front of them. Sometimes cases are heard in larger courtrooms than the ones I've shown you, but the procedure and the process will be very similar, even if the design isn't so modern. People often worry about what to call district judges or magistrates. In fact, magistrates are just referred to as Sir or Madam, although people often say, Your Worships, this isn't strictly necessary. And district judges are also referred to as Sir or Madam. Your judge will probably be a district judge. If, though, your judge is a circuit judge, you should call them Your Honour. The court list outside court will probably say what sort of judge is hearing your case, and if it is a circuit judge, it will say His or Her Honour on that list. Ask the court staff or even the judge if you're not sure about this, but try not to worry too much about it. As long as you don't call anyone a rude name, nobody will be